in the integration of poultry production, you don't have the ability to change your volumes on the short term, but what you can do is maybe reduce the unit weight, so slaughtering earlier than normally. And this is what we've done during this period to better balance supply and demand. Also on the back of high levels of imports, we did reduce our slaughtering age by approximately 1 day. So the number of birds still in line with the previous period, but the volume or the weight slightly lower. And that is purely to try and stabilize pricing and not go into the red.
Before we get into the feed costs and cost push pressures, let's take a look at dumping. It's been a big issue for the local poultry industry for the last 10 years. The strong rand is helping to fuel those imports. Now, we saw a strong increase in December, 42% increase in imports, equating to around 5 million carcasses. How much have importers been undercutting the local market by? And is this a real problem for you?
Imports has always played a role in South Africa. It's always been part of the market sector or the distribution sector. What we've seen over the past 18 months is, first on the back of the very strong rand, there's been some opportunistic imports into the country purely to benefit from the currency fluctuation. But lately, over the past 6-8 months, we've also seen cases of classical dumping, where countries from Americas, South and North America, would sell product into our market at lower prices than what they can reach or ask for in their backyard. So that's classical dumping, and that is a bit of a concern. And currently there's a class action via SAPA to try and address this. But it is a matter of concern, and we're going to have to manage that and watch it very closely.
Now, around 70% of imports are coming from Brazil. The country does have a comparative advantage with more streamlined, efficient production processes. Should local producers not be looking to improve their own efficiencies?
Well, if you look at purely at the bird and the efficiencies of the bird, we're on par with the Brazilians. I think what makes them much better is they continuously have a better health status. So the cost that we incur for medication, they don't have. They also have excellent assistance from the government to make them a world player in export. So the infrastructure, especially from a railroad, their harbors and their cold storage, that is all in line. The government, private sector, they are very well aligned to make them a world player. Here in South Africa, unfortunately, we're on our own, and we have to manage these things. And most of our raw materials and product are transported by road, which comes at about 3 times the price of railroad. So we will always be a bit behind them when it comes to definite costings, even South Africa.
Looking at the feed division now, revenue down slightly there, lower grain prices contributing somewhat to this fall in revenue. Now, South Africa does have an oversupply of maize in the country, and given the fact that we have poor transport infrastructure, our local producers aren't able to export the majority of the maize overseas, and so we have a saturation in the local market, lower prices. Where do you see the maize price going forward, though? Because we do have a lot of cost push pressures feeding into the economy at the moment.
Yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty currently in global grain markets. I think one concern is that America, one of the major producers of maize or corn, is currently at a very tight balance sheet situation with their stock-to-use ratio at 5%, the lowest it's been in the past 15 years. That's a bit of a concern. South African maize always had a price correlation of above 90% to Chicago border trade. Currently it's lower purely because the ability to export, and we don't have that ability. So whatever we produce here, we almost have to consume here. But prices are on an upward trend. World balance sheets a bit tighter than we would like them, but prices will tick up, and we're going to have to try and recover that in our local market.
Given the fact that we have the strong rand, which encourages imports into the country, we have this expectation for rising input costs. What are you doing to ensure that Astral Food remains a resilient business in the face of these headwinds?
Well, first of all, as a poultry producer, you have to ensure that your efficiencies is world class. We've placed a lot of focus and emphasis on that, also with the incorporation of a new genetic line over the past 2 years. That's paying off dividends currently. It's working well for us, and there will be a lot of focus on efficiencies, and we're going to have to look at new markets locally, new product mix, but we're also looking at some of our neighboring states to further our integration. We've got a good business in Zambia. We're in the third phase of capital expenditure to have a small integrated Astral in Zambia. We are active in Swaziland, we're active in Mozambique, and currently we're also investigating 1 or 2 other countries north of us with signs of good opportunity for growth.
Now, you've been negotiating a key supplier contract with KFC. What is the latest on this?
Currently, this is a long-term investment. They currently have 2 very good suppliers, but they're growing at a rate where they're concerned about the supply, and we still in negotiations with them. There's been a couple of plant visits. We've got all the accreditations from them, and it's now a matter of deciding how we can ensure supply that is mutually beneficial for both parties. And we're getting closer and closer to deliver the first truckload of product into KFC.
Would this have a material impact on revenue going forward?
No. It will, in the beginning and the start, it will be very small and almost insignificant. But as you know, KFC, they're very aggressive in their growth strategy, and we will position ourselves to take up the future growth with KFC and not try to take up their current volumes.